Yes, the brown cast. So brown, very much brown. Hello folks, welcome to Netcruzer RC. Yes, we have the new Arrma Outcast 4x4 4S BLX in my hands. Let's show you a little bit more about it. So this is the new Outcast. It comes in a bronze color, only one color, and it's more of a metallic brown, which you'll soon see in a minute. And I've already done an overview of what this new platform is. This is based off of the Granite 4x4 platform, beefed up to the nth degree. So we'll quickly do a scan around the box just to show you exactly everything that's in it that's new. It started with the 3S BLX. You started to get an aluminum motor plate, but an all metal spur gear is new. You get 17mm metal wheel hexes. Everything, arms, axles, shocks, everything is beefed up on this. You now get a Spectrum transmitter, and we're going to talk about that. The STX2, 15 kilogram per centimeter metal geared servo, which is 195 ounce-inches at 6 volts. The ESC is new, a BLX 120 ESC, which supports 2S, 3S, or 4S. Now, some people are saying that this is actually a rebrand of the BLX 100 that's in the 3S BLX trucks, and it's just rated as a higher voltage because they did lower the motor kV down to 2400. So it comes with a longer can, a 3668 2400 kV motor. Well, this is a ready-to-run truck. It's waterproof, it's forest capable, it's brushless, comes with a 2-year warranty, and you do need 4 AA's to run the transmitter. You need a LiPo charger. They recommend a LiPo bag, and for LiPos, I thought this was interesting. 2S, 3S, or 4S hard case. And we're going to talk about that in a minute too. And here it is, the Outcast 4S BLX. This is a fairly large tent scale RC, and I will do a comparison to show you some of the other sizes compared to this. But this is the new color. I'm outside in the sunshine, so you can get an accurate representation of the color. It is very brown, metallic brown, which I actually like, with the red accents. I posted a picture on Instagram, and some people said, now all I can see is the lightsaber battle is happening in the roll cage. Very nice Ford style design, like a 70s Ford F-150 pickup truck. Outcast bumpers, get a nice big wide wheelie bar, and this chassis is based off of the Granite 4x4 that came out as the Mega Brushed and then the 3S brushless, and now they've beefed it up even more for 4S brushless. The tires are very similar to the Outcast 6S tires, but these are D-Boots backflip LP for low profile. So they have a slightly shallower sidewall to them, but overall they are exactly the same tire for tread type. And the rim is a 3.8 inch rim with 17mm hexes. The only thing that's weird about these is instead of them doing a traditional 17mm hub like you see on all 8 scales, they did a 7 or 8mm nut with a big welded on flange to hold it in. So we'll see how those hold up over time. A couple of cool things about the body that I did notice is the paint. First of all, the paint is glossy. So still as of right now, the Notorious is the only one that gets the real steel type scratch off paint where it's matte on the outside, silver on the inside, and it scratches off. This does not do that. This is your traditional all painted from the inside, glossy style paint. And I gotta say, it looks very nice. I do really like the look of it a lot. You do get these standard clip retainers that come on most Arrma vehicles now. Very convenient. It's a great idea. I put those on other vehicles too that don't come with them. The body comes with this little roll cage thing. What you do get is these little screw caps on the top. And these screw caps are for when you're sliding upside down, they scrape on the screw caps instead of the plastic. So it produces sparks and saves your body a little bit. And something that I noticed when unboxing it that's very unique to this new, smaller Outcast is the wing also gets that same treatment where there's screw caps on the back of the wing so that when you're upside down and you're sliding on the wing, it's going to scrape on the screws instead of on the wing itself. So that is a cool addition. As far as I know, this is not on the Notorious 6S and this is not on the Outcast 6S. All right, let's get the body off. And just for mock-up purposes, I have put a battery in, which I'll talk about in a minute, and I have also changed the plug so that I can actually use it. Now you do get this all new 16 millimeter, huge big bore shock with a 4mm shock shaft. And I talked about these in my other overview video. So if you want to see more about those, take a look at that. Certainly the skid plate system seems to be much improved, much beefed up. Pretty much everything. Arms, hubs, skids, bumpers, shocks, everything has been beefed up on this thing. And that's a great thing. I think you do get some extended dirt guards, and interior layout is pretty much the same as before, but now you get a bigger heatsink and a fan on your motor, which you did not get before. And the motor can is longer, so there's barely enough room to get my index finger here now in between the ESC and the motor. What's new on all the new 4S vehicles in this range is this tower-to-tower brace, and it's pretty trick because it has a flex point in it. So if I push on the tower, you can see that bushing compress right here. This is a rubber bushing, and it compresses on flex. So that way you're not worried about actually breaking the top of your diff case or your shock tower. And it seems to be a very good design. I do like it. It's got plastic end links so that if you do get in a horrific crash, the end links will break and you won't have to replace the bar. And we'll see how this holds up for longevity. But I always like these bars on vehicles. I tend to put them on some of my other race cars because it makes for great transport, and it does certainly add rigidity to the chassis, which is noticeable for driving dynamics. Now let's quickly talk about some of the changes that have happened due to Horizon Hobby ownership. First of all, they keep changing the plugs on us. Previously, the 6S range of trucks all came with XT90s, and now they've switched over to IC5s, which is Horizon Hobby's, Spectrum's Intelligent Circuit 5 plugs. Now for these guys, for some reason, they decided to put on EC5s, which are backwards compatible with IC5s. But the problem is, if you're a long-standing Arrma customer, you probably don't have anything that uses IC5 or EC5, so I cut this right off. The side with the tag on it is positive. Now for right now, I'm actually going to put Dean's on this because that's all I have on hand and I really want to run it this weekend. So we're going to throw a Dean's connector on and we'll go from there. And the other really annoying thing about this is that it does not include the loopback. So when this was originally new out of the box, it was wired in like this with 2 plugs, and you would have to use 2 batteries because they do not include a loopback with it. I was going to have to go buy one, but really EC5s have no use to me because I don't have anything with them. So I cut it off and I soldered in what I had on hand, which was a Dean's connector, because I have tons of little components that transfer over to XT60, XT90, Traxxas, whatever I need. So now I've got this set up for single battery use only, and we're good to go there. Every other Arrma vehicle that's ever come out that had 2 connectors on the ESC came with the loopback plug, and this one does not. It sucks for the user. Now, one of the other new changes due to Horizon Hobby distributorship is that all of the 2019 versions of Arrma vehicles are now coming with Spectrum radios. And you would initially think, oh, that's a good thing, you're getting a Spectrum radio with it. But as many people know, this Spectrum radio that it comes with is, I dare say, terrible. A couple of reasons that people do not like this. This is the STX2 by Spectrum, and this is what comes in with most of the RTR vehicles now by Arrma, Axial, and all the others that were picked up in the Hobbico to Horizon Hobby transfer. Normally, Spectrum is a pretty decent radio system because they have a DSM protocol that's been around for many years, compatible with old to their new radios and receivers. This one uses a completely different Spectrum protocol, FHSS, Frequency Hopping Spread Spectrum. But the problem is, this radio system is not compatible with any other Spectrums at all. So this basically becomes a throwaway radio and a throwaway receiver if you ever want to upgrade, and that's unfortunate. The other thing that's annoying about this radio is plastic, right? It's got a plastic wheel. At least they put in this ribbing, hold on to it fine. But the problem is this wheel is huge. It's a much larger diameter than you get in almost anything else. So typically a wheel, you would be holding onto it like this. This extra width that you have to hold your fingers may seem like a very minor difference, but that size difference adds to the fatigue of your hands by quite a bit. It is a very odd feeling. It almost feels like you're like driving like this versus driving like this. Previously, all Arrmas came with the Tactic TTX 300, at least for the past 3 or 4 years. And here's a good example of the wheel size difference between them. So it seems minor, but it is highly noticeable by feel. And I've previously said that I didn't like this Tactic very much, but the only thing I didn't like about the Tactic is that the foam is tapered. Really, that's the only downside to it. And I've certainly gotten used to it now, and the Tactic radio is a much better radio than what currently comes with the 2019 Arrmas. So because of this unfortunate change in radios, a lot of people are choosing to remove this STX2 pretty much immediately and putting in an older Tactics TTX 300 transmitter or one of their own choosing. I am going to drive the first drive and maybe the second with this just to give it a chance, but overall I don't like its feel at all. It does have a couple of unique features, and it does have these trim adjustments, and this one here is your throttle limiter, so it does allow you to adjust it to 100%, 75%, or 50% throttle. That's about the only nice thing about this. All this other stuff is fairly standard. Reversing your rates and changing your dual rate system can be done in almost any other radio system. Fit and finish is really cheap as well. Also, regarding the radio system, they do give you a bind plug, although I'd imagine this is only useful for if your actual STX radio fails and you need to bind it with another STX2 radio, because as far as I know, you cannot bind the receiver that's in this with any other Spectrum radio other than the STX2. Here's the book and the tools that you get with the system. It's a very condensed manual system. You do get some stickers now, which you never got before, so that's a nice little addition. And you get a very basic, very plastic tool set, which is definitely a downgrade compared to the 6S vehicles. You get this hex wrench for adjusting the slipper clutch, and I believe this is your nut wrench for the wheels. Really, these are not very useful, although this one here for adjusting the slipper clutch system is fairly unique, so you want to keep that one on hand for sure. And the shocks, since they are not threaded shocks, they give you these little clips, which allows you to adjust the preload on your shocks. But overall, out of the box, it seems very well dampened, and even when I put my battery in it, it seems perfectly set up for use out of the box. Overall, the dampening on this thing is excellent. And I do have a battery in it, and I want to talk about that for a second too, because that's also a slight tweak that I made to fit my bigger batteries inside. The battery tray is just a Velcro strap system, and because this is the smaller chassis, it's designed for using smaller batteries, but it actually has the flexibility to run bigger batteries in. So I have taken a piece out, which sits right in here, and there's this screw hole here is for a little block piece, which I left downstairs, but it's a little block piece that just shortens the battery tray for running the shorter style LiPo packs. And if you take that one out with that one small screw, then you can put in your full 58 millimeter long, I think, full packs. This is a HRB 4S LiPo. Really been enjoying HRBs. I'll put links in the description. Great value for money. 50C constant 4S LiPo. This one comes with an XT60 plug, and it comes with 3 or 4 different types of adapters. Now, I noticed on the box it said run 3S or 4S hard case LiPos. This is considered a soft pack because it does not have the casing around it. There's really, for how protected this battery case is, there's no need to run a hard case all the time. It's fine. You've got a plastic drive shaft. There's nothing that's really going to be of major concern by running a soft case. So, you know, just use some common sense when you're installing your batteries. Make sure nothing's going to pinch or poke it, and you'd be fine running soft case as well. When they say it runs two 2S, a 3S, or a 4S, there really should be a disclaimer on the box that says you can't run a 3S or a 4S without buying the loopback thing, because out of the box it only comes with the ability to run 2 batteries at a time. Now here's an example of the size difference of a Granite 4x4 versus an Outcast 4S BLX. These two vehicles share the same chassis, but there is a slight difference, mostly due to the wheels, because these are 3.8-inch wheels and those are 2.8s, and that's what gives it that much bigger look. Also, the arms on this are wider than the Granite, and this truck is almost a perfect square. It is 1 inch longer than it is wide. I just wanted to show you a comparison here of the Granite 4x4 versus the Outcast. So the tower to tower brace is new. The shock towers themselves seem new, but all of the strengthening underneath them is different. The axles are bigger on the Outcast, the arms are longer. All the hubs and everything are much improved. So take a look at my other video about the overview of the new 4S vehicles, because it does show some under the wheels type changes versus the Granite. This is the little block that I was talking about where you'd adjust your battery tray size, and the only difference really that you can visibly see on mine is this is the Mega style slipper clutch system. So this was an upgraded brushed truck. So this has the weaker slipper, weaker gears and everything. And the other system is a different design entirely on how you tighten it. But overall, these vehicles are very easy to work on. One of the really cool things is this power module, where this one has it too. It's just harder to see because everything's in the way now. It's like 2 screws and this whole thing pulls back, which accesses your motor, your slipper clutch, all your gears and everything. It's a very nice, efficient design. One thing that was really weak on these original chassis when they first came out was this little skid plate system. So I did replace it on my Granite 4x4 with T-Bone Racing, so it covered it right up and replaced it all. This one looks to be much improved, where it is thicker, it has webbing. I was looking at it last night, and it may be hard to see, but in here it is much thicker than it was before, and it has webbing, and it actually captures the front little hinge pin area much better than before. It's certainly an improved part, and I do not think that I will have to upgrade the bumpers on this right away. They seem to be very well designed now, so that's good. From a body size perspective, here's the difference in the Granite versus the Outcast. One last comparison of the sizing difference. This is the Outcast 4S versus this is a Typhon, but I put bigger wheels and tires on it, so this would be the equivalent of an Outcast 6S or a Notorious 6S, and so that's the wheelbase difference. It's very minor. It's about an inch longer on the big boy. The reason is that the chassis is a little bit longer. It's a metal chassis. It's got more power. Not that big of a difference in size, but it is a $150 difference to get an Outcast 6S. That's up to you on which one you want to go with. Versus a Creighton. This is the Creighton 6S. This is the longest wheelbase vehicle in the 6S lineup, and there's the size difference there. This has the Creighton tires that came on this. These are upgrade wheels. Proline Racing 3.8-inch Badlands. Original Badlands, not MX style. And if you compare them with the new low-profile backflips, it's almost the exact same tread. And actually the 3.8-inch tire by Proline is slightly smaller. The backflips are a wider tire than the 3.8-inch Badlands. Okay guys, so I think I'm gonna end it there. That's my unboxing of the new Arrma Outcast 4S and comparing it with some of the other models that I own in the Arrma range. Next thing, we'll be giving it the first run. I'm probably gonna go and run it on 4S right out the box, and we'll see how it performs. All right guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you're new around here, subscribe. If you wanna talk to me, leave a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching. Yes, the brown cast. So brown, very much brown. Like the brown. Haha.